Hello. So I figured out why the engine wouldn't keep running. I had the igniters on a bracket, or they're mounted to a bracket, which I can show you right here. And I would get it running, but when I had it running, this bracket was sitting on the valve cover like this. So it was touching this valve cover, and then I moved it later and tried starting it and it wouldn't start at all. So then I realized there's a chance that this bracket needs to be grounded. So I ran this wire from here and bolted it to the block, and I got it running, and I will show you that clip right now. You ready?
Wait.
Have it on the engine. You ready? Try it again. So after getting it running, I tore everything back apart, all the wiring, I took everything off, the ECU and all that. And there was a wiring harness coming out right here for the transmission, for the automatic transmission that was originally on here. And it was this one. And I didn't need any of this. The only thing I needed off of that was the neutral start switch, which I found right in here, right where it comes out of the ECU, right here. I found that. So that was the only wire I needed out of that whole wire harness. So I took all the tape off of this whole harness here, and I took this plastic box thing apart, and I cut that harness and I pulled all those wires all the way back through and out. And that's what this wiry mess is right here. And I also got rid of a couple of different connectors. There was a connector over here for the EGR stuff, and I did the same thing with that. I cut it and pulled all the wires back through. There were a couple of redundant wires over here that went to, there was another plug coming off of here that I didn't have hooked up and didn't need, so I removed all the wires for that. I got rid of quite a few wires off of there, and this other plug that comes out of the ECU, I got rid of pretty much all of them except 3. So makes it way simpler to wire up once it's in the car, but since it's working, well, I hope it's still working. I haven't tried it since I did all that, so hopefully when I get in the car and hook it back up how I had it, it will run. So a little scared about that, but oh, there was also another wire right here that ran to, this is the traction control motor that it closes this flap to reduce your the gas going, or the airflow, and then it makes it so you get traction, I guess. Yeah, yeah, I didn't want it. They have air intake or throttle bodies that don't have this on here, and this is the same thing. This is the sensor for it. And my 94 Lexus LS400 has the other throttle body that doesn't have this. And I was really tempted to steal it off of there, but that car is super clean and low miles, so I really don't want to take it apart. So I'm just going to use this one as is. We are ready to put it back in the car. I got the steering shaft hooked up and Loctited all the bolts on that, so that's good to go. I removed the brake booster and master cylinder. I got the engine mounts mounted on here already, and we're ready to drop this thing in and then hopefully get the transmission hooked up while it's hanging in there, and we'll go from there. Let's get to work. Okay, I wasn't able to do this how I wanted. I was going to put the engine in and attach the transmission while the engine was in the engine bay. I have to do this alone, and I can't lift that by myself under the car and bolt it. It's just not going to happen. So I attached it together, and I jacked the back of the car up a lot, and the front is down low, so hopefully that'll give me more angle to be able to get it in there. We'll see how this works. So I made a critical error. I put the motor mounts on wrong. I don't know, I think it's just the part that mounts to the engine I put on backwards. It needs to be flipped over on both sides. So I'm gonna have to pull this back up. I'm not gonna take it back out, I'm just gonna pull it back up a little bit, switch those around, and then try again. I labeled them, but I didn't label which way each one goes because they can be flipped back and forth. I should have marked which way was towards the front of the car, but I didn't. So that's what we're gonna do now. I had the motor mounts completely backwards. So this piece was backwards and the piece that mounts to the engine was backwards. So I looked at old photos. These are the right ways. So let's see if we can get it in there now. All right. The engine is in. The mounts are all bolted in. I don't know if you can see them down in there, but they're bolted in the front. I gotta do the transmission mount now. That'll be the next thing, and it's probably gonna be a lot easier than the engine was. It only will go on one way, so should be pretty good. It's sitting in here. So we'll grab that and mount the transmission. The engine and transmission are in and mounted. You can see I got the transmission mount on. I don't have a bolt here for here or here. I'll need to get 2 more. But other than that, it's all in. It all fits how it was before. And it looks amazing. I think I might put the drive shaft in just to see if it fits. But that's gonna be all for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you like this series, please subscribe for more. Thanks.